welcome back.
That was scary.
Yeah, sorry about that. Welcome back to the Herald. It's me, Leo, and this is
Louis.
Sebastian. And we Louis Sebastian. No, Louis. And today is a lovely episode because we are reviewing the movie The Black Phone, one that we've been pretty anticipated for quite a while. Yeah, all year. We would say most anticipated horror movie of the year.
Oh, definitely.
For us? Definitely. So got big expectations going in, we'll talk about it. But obviously, before we do that, we have to do our sponsor mention, and we have to also talk about
the news.
Our news. So the sponsor of this very episode, which I need to get up because I forgot. QR code. Scan it, and you'll get it. It's good. Trust me, it's gonna be worth your time.
Okay.
If you don't know what these sponsors are, they're just basically. I'm just gonna say what they are.
Okay.
They're just like fun websites. That a lovely person makes. I don't know who it is.
No, we don't know.
We don't know. But they're great and they're worth your time. Yeah. So this week's sponsor is I Married My Imaginary Friend.weebly.com.
Oh.
I Married My Imaginary Friend.weebly.com. It's a lovely website, a beautiful, beautiful story, and check that out. So I Married My Imaginary Friend.weebly.com. Yes, they're not asking for help this time.
Last time they're asking to be found and helped, and usually it's asked for help, but this time it's a lovely story.
It's a lovely story. So go and check it out.
I need to check that out.
And check that out soon. Anyway, now it is time for our weekly news update. Now, a lot of this may be old news because this video is probably going to come out a little bit later than when we record it. But for this week, the news is thus. So this week's horror news. The first thing we're going to talk about.
Well, the date right now is the.
What is the date?
29th of July.
The 29th of July. Okay, so on the 29th of July, this is kind of what's going on. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is that a trailer released for the X movie prequel called Pearl. Trailer release. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I'm not sure if I will see it.
I don't want to see it.
Because I'll get to it because the movie's coming out pretty darn soon.
Already? Really?
Yeah. It's going to come out September 16, 2022. And that's funny because the USA release for the original X was March 18, 2022, which means two movies came out in the period of 6 months of the same franchise.
So X was probably filmed much beforehand then.
Of course, but the USA
how did they
release
know it was going to be successful? What if it failed and they were just making a prequel?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it would take I don't think the budget would be high because it's like a one location. I think it's still the same location. They could have been filming two films back to back.
Yeah.
So they could have been doing that. And because of that, it's going to be co-written. So it's going to be Ty West, back is to direct it, I'm pretty sure. And it's also going to be Mia Goth, who played the role of the villain Pearl, the old lady. Spoilers. Yes. Well, we did a review on this. Check that out. She, played the old lady as well as, the other, I forgot the other character's name, Sandy or something, I don't remember. But basically, this is a prequel movie. It's set in 1918, apparently, I'm pretty sure.
Damn, they're old. Oh, because
that
was in the 70s.
Yeah, so, that was the 70s, and now it's set in, I'm pretty sure, 1918. Yep. And it's just about the role of Pearl and maybe, how she becomes the evil woman. Misunderstood woman. And I'm pretty sure Mia Goth is also helping to write this one as well. I'm pretty sure she's really involved into it. She's not just acting as Pearl, she's also writing, and I don't know if she's co-directing, but she's definitely heavily in the creative process with this movie. It's a prequel film. It's not something that we probably would have, we don't want it, but like we would have never expected it or asked for it. But we probably still would watch it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, so.
Is it going to be theater or a streaming?
I think theaters. I'm not sure. It's A24 still. Yeah. And it's going to be theaters, but it might be streaming. I'm not sure which streaming service does A24. Like, I don't know what A24 is partnering with. Maybe something like that. But heck.
Why are you censoring yourself?
We swore a lot on these podcasts. Why am I censoring myself?
Hell, I'm sorry.
This is a Christian channel.
Jesus.
The fuck? Yeah, we'll get to that. No, but yeah, so that's coming out. So if you're a big fan of the X movie, you'll be a big fan of this. I know we have a friend who's really loves the X movie.
We liked it, but
we liked it. I nothing against it. It was good. But that's that. The next thing is kind of interesting.
What?
Is that Evil Dead Rise? There was positive test screenings.
So yeah. Yeah.
So there was a test screening for Evil
that's
Dead
cool.
Rise.
Okay.
And lots of positive reviews for people. And this is the weird thing. This is kind of shocked me a little bit. So Bruce Campbell was talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And he said how, it was so great that it might get a theatrical release.
Yeah, I saw that.
I always thought it was going to get a theatrical release.
No, it was going to be HBO Max.
Which is a shame. Because I wanted to see an Evil Dead film in the theater. But that's good news, I guess.
Horror movies need to be seen on the big screen.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
But that's great news. Then I can't wait because I'd love to see an Evil Dead movie in the theaters. But yeah, positive test screening reactions, and I'll quote some stuff that Bruce Campbell said. So he said this. He was having an interview with Collider, and he says actually does not suck in the least. So when they were asking them about the film. Lee Cronin did a great job, and I think he's the director.
Sure.
And he says, Sam picks these director types who've had some experience, but we can still sort of shove them into the Evil Dead box a little bit, since they're Maverick-type director. I give Sam credit. He's not picking people who are going to mimic his shit.
Yeah.
They come with very strong personalities and approaches. It's a very European Evil Dead, he says.
Oh, so that means I'm going to love it.
And
if it's anything like Suspiria, then I'm going to love it.
Yeah,
hopefully it's Suspiria.
Yeah, and it's directed. There's Cronin also directed a movie called Hole in the Ground. I'm not sure what that is. It might be a horror movie. Might be cool. And it apparently was a big hit with critics and audiences, and put him as the lead. I'm cool. I'm excited for that. I would have loved for the guy who directed the Evil Dead remake to direct this new one. But I don't mind that. I don't mind if it's a new direction. Sure, but I
like the idea of like each film was different. Not like the same thing on over again.
Sure.
Like some
Although I
do,
still
like
wouldn't mind. Yeah,
but,
Halloween, I guess. But I still wouldn't mind a sequel to the remake one day.
Yeah.
But if it's its own one day.
You'll get it one day.
But if it's its own thing, then that's fine. Yeah. So that's okay. Cool. That's that. And this is another Evil Dead news, but this is big news. If this is true, I really hope so.
Oh, animated Evil Dead.
Oh, son of a bitch! Ash versus Evil Dead animated series could be in the works.
Yeah, I heard about this.
So Bruce Campbell kind of teased it. He was chatting at a San Diego Comic-Con over last weekend. It must have been. And he basically said this to someone. I'm not sure exactly who it was. Collider, of course. Collider again. I said, as an animated series, it could be coming back. That's not his line. Sorry. Someone said to him, hey, is there talks to continue the series? And he said, as an animated series, you pick up right where the show left off. You can do the future a lot easier in animation. Because, spoilers.
Do we get Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. What is his name? Pedro and the other woman?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, but they're in the past.
I don't know. I mean, it would kind of feel weird without them because they're they are the kind of the show.
And what kind of animation would they do?
Yeah, but he says it's just a lot easier.
That'd be cool.
He will still voice Ash and everything like that.
Of course.
And it'd be, he's saying stuff about how it won't hurt his body as much because it's animated. Yeah. And he's still going to do stuff for the video game. He also said, so that's great. More stuff for the video game. Epic. But spoilers for the end of season 3 for Ash vs. Evil Dead. We'll maybe have a timestamp. Louis, I'm putting a lot of effort on you now, but do a timestamp.
Well, won't happen.
Skip, happen. Okay.
No, it will.
Okay, who knows? But basically, at the end of it, Ash wakes up in the future, in the quite distant future, apocalyptic future, year 2000. And Ash is woken up in the future, and he's with some robot chick lady, and they're gonna take out. I don't know what villains they're taking down, but it's kind of a new kind of like, oh wow, that's because he's gone to the past before, now he's in the future, and it looks interesting. Not exactly how I would have wanted to end the show, but if they're gonna do something with that, sure, why not? Let's have Ash. Yeah, why not? Yeah, me too.
Hopefully they can get the rights to Army of Darkness.
Yeah, hopefully. But that's that. That is the news for this week. And we'll now get into the review
of Black Phone. Directed by...
We'll talk about it.
We're back.
What? Whoa. Nice. All right, so before we start with our review, let's do a little quick, telling of our feelings of it. So, our feelings. How did we feel about the film, Black Phone? This is going to be the least spoilery we're going to be, but then we're going to be full-on spoilers.
Later on. Black Phone.
How did you feel?
Yeah, it was good, really good.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
Nice. It was
nice,
a
little,
not cute, but it was a good
it was
little
a cute horror film.
Horror movie.
Yeah,
and it worked. I had hardly any quals with it.
Yeah,
if not any. Well, we'll get to it. Actually, I got some negatives, but
it's simple enough.
Yeah,
it's
unique-ish.
It's unique.
It's something that you feel like you've seen before, but it's in a very new way.
Stephen King, but like Sinister.
Yeah, and it's good.
Yeah,
it was great, and it was exactly what you expected, but also not what you expected. Like I know that's a really cheesy thing to say, but it was like it was good, which is good. Spoiler time. Spoiler.
It sucked.
Wee.
Don't make me have to do effects.
You gotta do something. Wee. Spoilers. It's spoiler time. Spoiler time. Should we do positives or negatives first?
We always do positives.
Let's do positives first.
We always do positives first.
You know what? I'm gonna stop asking that question for now on. This is news, folks. For the rest of our reviews, it's always just gonna be positives first.
Yeah. When have we ever done negatives first? You stupid man.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway,
fair enough.
Great acting.
All right. Let's do that one. Let's get out of the way. So what the first positive we have is great acting. Great acting
by Ethan Hawke and the kids.
I'm gonna say the kids are, I think, especially to me, a big standout. Gwen and Finney, they were the characters. I forgot the names of the actors, but Gwen was probably a standout. She really kind of helped. This film's like a dark film.
She elevated every scene she was in.
And because this film is like so dark, her scenes really help. To kind of like,
the
make
sibling dynamic and how kind of fun.
But like also she kind of like alleviates some of the dark subject matter with kind of her comedy and stuff like that. And she's not like a comedy character, but she's
a bit more lighthearted than
she's definitely got this kind of like personality about her that she's enjoyable to watch in every scene. And I think she's fantastic. She's a great actor. Finney's also great as well. I mean, they there's like scenes in this film where there's like abuse and stuff like that. Yeah. And
the
acting is fantastic.
So maturely, so well done. Especially Gwynny.
Yeah, and when they're crying, like you really feel for them as well. Like
the feels like this is like a real film feels natural and real, and I really like it.
Yeah, so the acting is fantastic. So Gwen and Finney, fantastic,
really good.
And also
was amazing.
Yeah, we should also probably mention Ethan Hawke. I think Ethan Hawke's great, and it was surprising me because I thought he would easily be the standout of the film. But it was kind of Gwen and Finney.
He was mostly hidden behind the mask.
Yeah, he was good as well. He was creepy. I was expecting for them to, because he's such a big star, to go like, we're going to give all these big scenes to you, and you're going to be this big, over-dramatic character. Yeah. And while there were scenes where he was like big and rough, whatever that, he was mostly kind of contained in a way, and he kind of had kind of smaller moments throughout, and it wasn't, or like this is just an Ethan Hawke movie, which is great, which was a good choice. Because they could have easily done that with a star like Ethan Hawke. But I thought he did a great job with his role, and I didn't think, I think we got just enough of him. And
I feel like he was chosen for him being an actor and not being chosen because he's Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. And the director was worked with them. It's the same person who made Sinister.
I saw him say a quote. Did you see it where like Ethan Hawke was like, "I made Sinister when I was turning 40, and I'm making this movie when I'm turning 50."
Wow, was it that long ago Sinister came out?
It was like I made this film. Like I was defining my 40s, and this film was going to define my 50s.
Wow,
something like that, along those lines.
But I mean, they've been working together.
Same director,
and I think he did great. And another positive, because we're kind of on the conversation about actors. Me and Louis were really happy when we saw. I don't know the character's name. I think it was Max. The character's name.
Max.
But when James Ranson, when he popped up. And he was like, "Yo!"
We had a completely empty theater.
Yeah,
very small screen. It was a very small screen, but maybe that took away from a bit of the scariness.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Whatever. But he popped up, and I pointed and I went, "Oh, it's him!"
Yeah, it's
and
him.
Liz looked at me like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, I was looking over you, about to say it to you, but we love him, and he was best part of Sinister 2 because Sinister 2 wasn't that great. But he's great. He's great.
Love
I mean,
I
haven't seen him in so many stuff, but like It Chapter 2, I've seen him, and the original Sinister, he was great, and he definitely was a fan favorite. I think character from those two. Deputy. I forgot the names, Can I say when he first came on behind the door, I was like, this kind of reminds me of Deputy Dewey, and I was like, wait a second, he played a deputy. Oh wait,
do you know what's funny? When he came on screen, I thought like he was the kidnapper, and then like the kids see him as Ethan Hawke or something because he was wearing a shirt that was very similar to something the other person was wearing. So I was like, oh my god, is that him? And I was like, no, it's not. They're like, oh, it's my brother. Wait, what? So I was like, I kind of guessed it, but didn't at the same time. I don't know, it was weird.
Yeah, and also was like an interesting kind of plot line.
Yeah.
About the whole
Brother,
and it's hiding down in the cabinet, and he was like high all the time, so he couldn't tell. But I thought, it was interesting. But anyway, we'll talk maybe more about that later. Do you have anything else you want to say, or should I?
I would say I really like the tone and how everything. I'll get into negatives about some of the tone stuff, but the tone generally at the beginning and the end and the middle, it kind of felt consistent. It felt like the gray sadness tone overlapped everything. There wasn't really like a part where I was like, this feels like a completely different movie. But like it felt consistent in the tone, and I understand, and the tone made the stakes feel more real. Like this kidnapper could feel like it was in this world, because like I know it's a different world, but like in it feels like that character of it would be in this world because it's so hyperly dramatic. This feels like this napper, or what do they call him?
The grabber.
The grabber. Like it felt like a natural villain that would be in this world that they set up at the beginning. I don't know, like the tone of it, like how he wears all black, how he wears like highlights of red. It felt like a consistent, like dress, like a costume design, and everything about the character felt consistent to the movie. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I gotta say, the tone was great as well.
Yeah, and I would say maybe that's why I felt actually. The movie hit me at the end, and that tone and the consistency between the characters and the dynamics made me feel for the brother and sister at the end, because I was like, oh my god, without him, she has no support system at home because of the abusive father, and like she like lays her head on his, and he needs her. So when he exits at the end and they hug, I was actually like sad. I was like relieved for them. Yeah, because I love those characters so much. Yeah, and the tone overall of that made me feel that.
The film definitely kind of painted this kind of dark kind of world where like no kid is safe. I mean, there's themes of abuse which I was going to talk about, which I think was done pretty well. But it really painted that it's hard being a kid in the 70s because you got abusive parents, and then when you go to school you got abusive bullies. Yeah, and it really kind of added to like. Lack of safety and the kind of whole
of course this kidnapper is getting all these kids because everyone hates living here,
and it was kind of sad, and did paint this kind of morbid kind of picture of being a kid in the 70s, although I don't know if it's this intense in the 70s. None of us are from the 70s obviously, but it definitely help with kind of the themes, the darker tone of, as you were saying,
and especially made the grabber feel more like scary, because we got established that one of his friends who beats up like a bigger kid, and then we go, oh, this guy's like the big kid, he's like he looks small but he's really tough. He gets killed. Like that makes it like, oh shit, if he can get killed, this little scrawny ass kid isn't gonna survive very long.
Yeah, and
and that follows through until the end.
Yeah. Really and talking about the end, because I think we're on the kind of conversation now, is that I really like the end. You probably like the end. It's one of the. I mean, a lot of horror movies you watch, it's great, and then the ending is kind of like, sure. But this ending I felt was really earned. I mean, I didn't want the kid to die.
It felt like a character triumph. Like he made it. Like all the things he was learning from the dead kids on the phone felt like he learned all the things, and they all came up to a satisfying climax.
Yeah, and I felt like it was tied up really well. I mean, scenes within the film weren't just random scenes. So, for example, like when the kid is, trying to dig his way out in a wall and then goes into a freezer and there's like meat everywhere. Sense. That could be just some random time-wasting scene, but at the very end, he gives that piece of meat to, the grabber's dog, and that's how he gets out. Or when he's digging a hole, Ethan Hawke's character runs in and falls in the hole, and the ending.
Wire, he trips so
it's all very. I felt the ending was very, very clean and worked quite well, and it was a very kind of tight. And it is kind of a small film, and it worked kind of well with that, and it didn't seem, obviously they're not going to make any sequels, but like it
Oh, fingers crossed.
I mean, who knows?
This
Who
does
knows?
not need a
But
sequel.
I'm just saying it was very tied up very cleanly, and I was satisfied with the ending. There were some still.
There's
questions.
one thing I'm not satisfied with the ending. We'll get that later.
We'll get to that, but yeah, I felt like there was still kind of questions that was
Yeah.
left, and half of that's kind of good, but I will get to my
Yeah.
negatives. But yeah, it felt a very clean, satisfying ending. You know, it's still, it doesn't feel like they're leaving into a world that's, you know, necessarily better, except for that I will say there's some character, there's kind of a character arc with their father, which I'll talk about soon. But it felt like just a very clean ending, and I don't know. I don't have much more to say.
To go into something else, the supernatural elements of it, I would say it added to the film, but also subtracted to the film as well.
Sure.
I would say the add part. It added something for the sister to do and gave a connection to their mother, and it gave her more to do in the film, so she isn't like a helpless, like she's in the beginning but not in the middle because she had nothing to do. Yeah. But I felt like that added to her character, also made for the best line in the film. Jesus, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was
that was great.
Yeah, that was like she's definitely got some funny lines.
Yeah. She's using her powers to try to find the kidnapped kids, and I really think that's good. But I'll quickly just go into a small negative. But it also kind of felt like, what were the limits of the supernatural?
Yeah,
you know, it was like, what is supernatural? What can be supernatural? Is this a metaphor or is this more literal? You know, like I don't. It was kind of
I
hard
do want to
navigate.
talk about that in the negatives though when we
yeah.
get to it. But definitely, yeah.
Also, but talking about the supernatural, the ghost kids, I liked how he couldn't see them, but we could see them.
Yeah,
I really like, and their voice with all ADR and had like that phone thing, and I liked how that added to the plot and how they didn't remember the names. It felt more like they were like, I don't know, made them feel like myth. Like they're like, oh my god, you're that kid, and they're like, I don't even remember my name.
It reminded me a little bit of the movie Coraline. If you've seen it, when there's like these ghost kids who were trying to help Coraline. Yeah. And you know they're gonna fade away if Coraline doesn't help them. Yeah. But I mean I will say that those kind of scenes with the ghost kids, they really led to some some of the scariest moments in the film.
I blinked for 1 second, I got jump scared.
Yeah,
I closed my eyes just like to itch my eye, and then suddenly boom.
I will say that there's some really kind of scary imagery that's pulled off quite well by the director, where you know there's. Maybe the kid there's like a
floating.
There's a kid like floating like backwards, which is kind of creepy, and that didn't jump, but
wasn't as scary as Sinister.
But it was like it was pretty scary, and I felt like really weird when there's like a guy, one of the kids, one of the bully kids is like behind our main character, and he kind of like flies backwards.
Oh,
like, what the heck
that reminded
happened
me of
there?
The Conjuring 3, where the guy throws the bucket and the bucket just goes. Kind of remind me of that.
Right.
And I love those effects of like where something gets pulled out and there's no sound. It's like whoa, and into the void.
It was just so unexpected, so that really kind of like made me go like, oh.
Yeah,
and
you
then
could see him like small in the distance. That was really cool.
Yeah. But I think and then there's those scenes for me were some of the scariest of the film. And I wouldn't say this was like a terrifying film at all. I mean, I still say like Sinister is probably the scariest film I've ever seen. Yeah. And I wasn't.
One felt more like a cautionary tale kind of thing. It felt like a story, not less of a horror movie.
Yeah, I wasn't, necessarily going in to go like I'm going to be terrified. Yeah. So that's why I probably wasn't as disappointed. But
it was thrilling in some parts, especially with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah, there was some imagery, like him sitting down.
In the trailer though,
I guess
that he wakes up.
I guess so.
I wish I didn't know that, but that's fine.
But yeah, that was also some kind of creepy imagery. Like there's one shot of him like in the seat with the mask, on, waiting with the bell. I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Yeah. I guess there's a lot of, I don't know if it's like theater of the mind, but I feel like they, I don't know. They didn't necessarily, scare me so much, but lots of kind of like the themes and the ideas that kind of scared me more than the actual. The actual graphic violence.
Yeah, like more of like the subject matter of a kid is being kidnapped. What does this mean? The kid going through these trials.
What is happening to the kid?
Yeah.
Why is he kidnapped?
Why is this happening to the kid? It made me like more of like a existential horror of like what I'm seeing isn't that scary, but what I'm going to think about after is scary. And I would say also the mask, the actual mask itself is really good, designed by the guy who designed the kid Jason Voorhees.
Kid Jason Voorhees.
What's his name?
The kid Jason.
Like he's like very prolific. Tom
Savini.
Tom Savini's company helped design the mask.
There you go.
And produce it. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and there's lots of variations of this. It's probably the same mask, but like bits taken out.
Yeah, it's like meant to be like it's meant to be a relic where you take out one and substitute another one.
And I will get to that soon.
Yeah,
in my negatives, to be honest.
My negatives as well. Yeah.
But it was those masks were cool, and hopefully they release on Trick or Treat Studios when I might get one. No, but yeah, I think the costume
positives?
designs were cool, and it did feel like that kind of aesthetic. I got some more positives. I feel like what was great about it is that nearly every character you kind of, besides maybe Ethan Hawke and some of the bullies, you kind of felt for and you could empathize with. Yeah. It's really weird. I wasn't expecting to empathize with the abusive dad, and to be honest with you, I still think if you're abusive dad, that's not good. But you could tell, don't. If you're a dad out there and you're abusing, what the heck, man?
Stop it.
Don't do it.
Put it down.
Stop it. Put down the belt. No. But there were scenes that you did feel bad for him.
Yeah.
You did,
because
he's talking about his wife.
No character is good if you only feel one emotion with them, Like if it was just a substitute of like abusive dad, it's like, well, that's a character. The person we see in the movie is a human.
Yeah, and I guess I appreciate that, while I think he's so horrible for what he did to Gwen and stuff like
that.
And
the kids don't have to forgive him.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like they did towards the end, which was a good thing.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
It was good. It was good that we saw how he didn't want her his son. His daughter to become. Sorry, my mind's a bit tired today. His daughter to become like the mother, and he was scared that was going to happen, and you could tell he's become probably an alcoholic because of what happened, and you could tell that he's trying to be better.
Wasn't always like this.
Was kind of helping.
Probably was shaven.
Yeah, was. That's probably helping, when he I think helped Gwen, drive around.
Yeah, that was development.
Yeah, and there's like a development of him trying to be better, which was good. And I think, but at the same time, it's solid that they didn't fully forgive him at the end, although he does seemingly want to change. So yeah, that's a good positive. Do you want me to say some more positives? Or do
I'm out of like. Big
okay,
positives,
I've got some like kind of smaller positives. I loved the title card intro. The montage that there were.
That's very sinister.
I think that I think creeped me out kind of the most out of most of the film. It just creeped me a lot, and it gave me kind of chills, and it didn't show so much, but like showed little shots of like blood on a kid or whatever like that. Sure. That kind of like spooked me out, and I kind of like really enjoyed how that looked, and also the score with that it was also felt
the score was really good as well.
I was gonna say another positive I think is the score, because it was kind of very unique. Like it wasn't like a
especially during the end part.
The scene where like the police officers are trying to get to the house.
Yeah,
that kind of, it had a very unique kind of like.
That's why it made me feel like this isn't really a horror. It's more of like a.
It was a weird track. It was like an 80s like beep beep boop boop. Beep beep boop boop. Like beep beep boop soundtrack, and now I was like, that's kind of creepy. But yeah, so the score was just very very interesting.
Yeah.
Finally, let's see if I have any other small. Lots of these are positives are small. I like the Stephen King aesthetic. We've already kind of said that. I like how. I kind of like how not everything's explained, but at the same time I don't. So I'll get to that. Feels like a nice. I just wrote down nice small film. Although it's not. I'm not trying to say it's just a small film, but it's good. I think that's kind of mostly all my positives.
Now
so
let's move on to more like negatives. And I would say when I say negative, I don't mean anything too horribly bad.
Just stuff that kind of like started me going like, I wish they did. I wish they did this.
So at first, I wish it explored more on the Ethan Hawke character.
Yeah, I was
needed
say
more
that.
of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not when I say I don't really need to know why exactly he's doing this. Like, sure, I can, like, I don't need all of that. I'm more of what I wanted to know was why the mask.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what is the symbolism of the different masks?
Because, like, it follows his mood, and I kind of halfway through went like, oh, each mask is a different personality.
Yeah.
Like, when he just had his eyes shown and his mouth covered, he was kind of, like, looking and kind of more shy and kind of, like, a bit more cheeky. And then when he was like, I'm just watching you. And then when he had the angry mask on, he was about to beat him. Like, it showed, like, different methods, and maybe if we look it up, there's some symbolism of like ancient tradition or something that we'll know, and then like that will make it sense. But face value, and it made me go like, so is it like, because when he took off the mask, he felt vulnerable at the end when
what was that about?
Ripped off the mask, and I was like, oh, so he like
the mask must mean
maybe
something.
Like it covers him from the reality of what he's doing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so when his face is vulnerable, he's Ethan Hawke.
But then at the same time, when he kidnaps the kid,
when he kidnaps him,
he doesn't have
the mask. He has sunglasses and a hat.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know more of like what exactly does that mean? And
I feel that it is exactly the same. Like I wanted to. They probably could just give like a throwaway line. Maybe the kid can go like, "Oh yeah, when he puts that mask on when he beats me" or something like that.
Yeah,
just like a quick
like a ghost call.
Yeah, ghost call. What I mean.
You're gonna call a ghost call
is what I mean. But like something. Just something throwaway, just something that so we know there's a significance about the mask.
What if the kid was like, when he first met you, what mask was he wearing?
Yes,
I need to be like, what do you mean? For me, it was the smiling one, and then for another kid to say, for me, it was the angry one, to show like he
just something, because I did feel same as you a bit like these masks feel important, but we don't know why they're important.
I guess because we're from the kid perspective, we don't know, but like I still, as it makes me curious.
And I don't feel like they need to explain everything, but just something. And still try to keep it ambiguous.
I don't know. I didn't need to know how he finds it or how he makes it.
We don't need to know, what's his magician stuff. Although,
actually, I do want to know.
I do kind of want to know.
Is he a magician?
His van could he do something with that? Could they do something with him being a magician? Could he maybe do some tricks in front of him?
What if like the kid thinks he's got him? And he's like, oh, and like he like looks up and he goes surprise, and something's like different about him, like he's a different mask on or something.
Yeah, I was thinking they do something with that. Even if that's like when he's like stuck downstairs, if you just do a little card trick to pass the time or something like that.
Yeah.
Just do something with that because I was kind of interested. And also, I mean, part of that, I probably don't need to know why he kidnaps kids, but like,
I was curious on like, what is the naughty game, the naughty boy game?
Yeah.
What is that an American thing?
I think it's just that you go up to. I think the naughty boy game was just like when you walk up the steps, you get hit, you get beat,
and then you get killed.
That's probably it. They didn't confirm. They probably did confirm.
It's kind of a weird ritual to have. You leave, I beat you, and then I murder you.
And I would have maybe liked to know, like, is that kind of part of this character? Like, was he abused as a child? Is there a reason why he's like this?
Is his
I don't know.
brother Max like high because I'll get into that later.
Maybe even like Max can like secretly say something to like the cops about like, oh yeah, I had an abusive father. Not even trying to mention Ethan Hawke's character, but just something. Like, why are you the way that you are? But I don't know.
Which goes into my main issue.
Sure.
I wish maybe either a bit longer or more developed areas that need to be more fleshed out. I'm really good at this. This is one thing I can actually say I'm really good at. I'm really good at identifying what is an adaptation of a book or a movie or something. I feel like even if I don't even know, like there was this freaking movie. There was this movie, and I was like, that's probably from a book. And I looked it up. It was from a book. Like, I can tell. So when I was watching this, I was like, I knew it was a short story. But when I was watching it, I was like, they had to cut something down from that. That probably in the short story was more developed. Like, I could look at, and I was like, I wish, like, things that were touched upon were developed a bit longer. Because I feel like I could tell that, like, because there's so much in the book, probably, or in the short story, that, like, probably wasn't told, or maybe the short story doesn't have that, and this added more. I felt like something either was added or subtracted that needed to be touched up on a bit more.
Yeah, like, I think with my negatives with this, I don't have, like, a lot of my negatives is just explain more of this.
Yeah.
Just explain more of this. Like, for example, like...
fulfilling experience.
As you were saying, what is the extent of Gwen's powers? Or, like, maybe just tell us something about, like, how... I mean... what is this? We don't really need to know how she has his powers, but like I know when people like watch, for example, spoilers for this movie, Last Night in Soho, a lot of people like, why you haven't seen it?
I'll close my ears.
No, it's okay. This isn't worth saying it. Then you can just cut this out. But
I would say, and also that goes into like she finds where the dead bodies are, and that happens to be right next to the street. So it kind of felt like her thing. Kind of like I felt like it was going to lead up to something a bit more grand, but just kind of accidentally found her brother.
Yeah, I guess
and he happened to escape at the same time. I don't know. Jesus maybe helped them.
I think this film at its core was confirming that Jesus is real,
and it's a Christian.
I think this was Jesus' confirmation.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm all for it. Just why not? Jesus, I love you.
Jesus, what the fuck?
So we're not trying to make fun of Jesus. If you're a Christian out there, we gotta be careful.
No, we're making fun of this film. About talking about Jesus.
But no, Yeah, I guess really, I just would appreciate a little bit more explanation. And even then, I'm still happy with what I got.
Yeah.
It isn't like
would have made it a
burning
more
me up,
fulfilling experience.
but I would have loved to just know a tiny bit more. It would have
Hey.
been more like a complete package.
What
you know
if
what I
this guy is like the brother of the woman from X,
mean? From X?
or
Why-
his son? You never know.
Why not?
Maybe
Why not?
maybe they abused him when he was younger, and then it came out, and so that's why she is a necrophilic murderer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Make
know.
a prequel of that. A24. Anything else? You go. Yes.
I can't think of anything else. I wrote some stuff that I don't now agree now that I'm looking at it.
Okay.
I was like, well, I wish they did more with the soundproof basement, but at the same time, they didn't
don't
really
really
need
need
to
to,
do
no.
much more.
I
with
have
the
a bit more
soundproof
then if you
basement.
you
Yeah,
just
go
say
for
yours.
it. Go for it.
I say sometimes the comedy tone kind of felt a bit weird and out of nowhere.
Really?
Like when Max comes, I was like, oh, this is a funny little thing. But when Max comes down and he's like opening the door, like, hey guy, oh my god, and then he's just like, I don't know, kind of felt a bit like, what is this? Kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes like comedy, not in like with Gwen, I mean specifically Max, like the brother character, kind of felt like, what? Oh, okay, that's cool. And then it moved on. I was like, okay, but nothing a big problem, but a massive problem I have with this film. This was an actual plot problem.
All right, go for it.
If I was a serial killer and my brother was like, hey, I want to investigate these murders, can I come to your house where you are killing these kids and keeping them captive to investigate it? I know he said like, oh, Max is an idiot, he'll never, but it kind of feels like, why have your brother, who is a freak of like probably like would become a podcaster of true crime or something, has sniffs crack and then sniffs cocaine, and then like has a murder board of all this stuff. Why would you just continue to have a child in your basement? Why would you let him come to your house?
Maybe
because he said he was visiting.
Maybe because
Get rid of that.
What?
Actually, doesn't need to be gone, doesn't it? Like, why allow him to come to your house?
I think because he's a genius. Because like, where would you least suspect your very own home? Like,
but he finds out anyway.
Yeah, but that's how. Maybe it's a bit convenient.
Well, then just
in that
don't
way.
bring him here.
But
you
he's like high all the time, so he won't even like realize.
I know. It feels a wee bit.
Wait
weird.
a second.
What?
Oh no, it's soundproof basement. Never mind.
Yeah.
So, never mind.
And I just felt like what if they do escape, and what if like he's beating upstairs?
You know what I'm thinking about?
What?
If you know how Ethan Hawke, sometimes
Yeah.
falls asleep with a mask with a
Yeah.
belt. What if his brother was just to go downstairs going,
Yeah.
"What the fuck
Yeah,
is
exactly.
this? Like, what are you doing?" And he's just
Yeah,
like,
like,
"Oh
just-
shit!"
And also, like, yeah, he also when he runs out to escape, also Finney, knock on a fucking door. Don't just run past houses.
Yeah,
But like that's not the biggest deal. It's just
Yeah.
more suspend your disbelief. But like also like what if Max just walks out and he's dragging a kid inside because he wakes up from the noise after and not before.
Listen, Max is high.
I guess.
Okay, Max ain't gonna know crap.
But
In
he's-
my
he's-
experience of taking drugs,
Yes,
which
of
is
course.
pretty big,
Yeah.
I know for a fact that the moment you have a little sniff,
Uh-huh.
you can't hear or see. So that is kind of like part of what it's gonna be.
You know what? You're right. You're absolutely right.
So I think that's a bit stupid that you came
Yeah.
up with that. But no, I
Yeah.
get you. I guess
Yeah.
now that I see, it could be a bit of a plot hole.
But that's
But
that-
even
that's
on the
my
same
extent.
time,
That's my
I
extent.
don't care about that too
Yeah,
much.
I don't. That's more of like that's kind of funny.
If it gives us
You
that
know?
actor,
Yeah,
then I'm okay.
exactly. And also the other thing was like, we already said this. Like, I wanted to explore more his tones of his mask.
Yeah.
Also, when the bully kid, not the bully kid, the bully kid that bullies the bullies and it's friends with Finney. The scene I was kind of confused. Like, why is this kid just walking towards this random black van in a parking lot with a magical cape? I was like, obviously he probably got something. He's probably been promised something or something. I don't know. I thought he was gonna turn around and go, "Oh, what the fuck is that?" But no, he kept walking. I was like, "Huh, that's weird."
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
Just most of my negatives in this film was little things that I was like, oh, maybe like in the screenplay if I could like little like tap this and add these little parts, maybe more of that. But really,
still overall pretty good, pretty solid, pretty well made. I think it's
I think that's all of the things I have.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else really
No.
to say.
later.
Delete that.
No, I'm not going to delete that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. So I think we should just get to our rating of the film of Black Phone 2022.
Do we change camera angles or stay on this one?
What do you think?
What do we usually do?
We normally change camera angles. Yeah. Whoa. Hi. Welcome back. So we're gonna do a little rating now of the films. So basically, I'll just do a quick one down as I always do, and we'll do this really quickly. At the very bottom is Shit Show, which is absolutely worst, horrible, I hate it so much, burn it, burn it, burn it. Then just above that is Ball Snore, Get Out the Door. It's boring, I don't like it. Sucks. It's like yeah, there's not much positive to say about it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's like, what am I doing wasting my time? Yeah. And then just above that is Book Appointment with Disappointment, which just basically means that like you may have gone to this film expecting something good. It may have had, the chance to be good, but you just went in and it was just bad. Or maybe it was like it could have been better. It was still okay, but it could have been so much better, and it just wasn't. Yeah. Then just above that is Hey, It's Fun, which basically just means that it's good. I mean, it's not the perfect film. It's nothing amazing, but it's still fun and it's worth your time, and you should definitely check it out. Or maybe not worth your time, but it's good. It is worth the time. It's good. It's worth your time. Go and check it out. And then just above that is Fantastically Splendid. These are movies that are fantastic, really well done. They're not classics. They're not perfect films, but they're really great, solid horror movies that's come out, or horror TV shows or whatever we're reviewing, that you should definitely check out because it is definitely worth your time. And yeah, it's fantastic. And then horror classics are basically kind of, that's above that now, is horror classics, or just, what else do we call it? Masterpieces or something like that. Which is just basically, this is like, if it's a new film, this is like, oh God, this is going to be a new classic. Maybe it doesn't have to be a perfect film, but it has to be like a really well done movie that we think is definitely worth your time. You should definitely check it out. It's so good. It's fantastic. And it's near perfection. This is like near perfection. We have hardly anything bad to say about it. Anyway, with that being said, I don't know exactly what to give this. I might.
I'll give it first while you.
Actually, I have something. I'm gonna settle on Fantastically Splendid.
I'm gonna say Fantastically Splendid because there's not enough of this film to actually take away from how well made this film is.
Yeah.
So like this movie, great scripting, great characters, and like my only negatives is little nitpicks.
Yeah,
and like of course it's not perfect or amazing. It doesn't blow my mind, but it's good enough to not be bad.
I think I was kind of worried when I was thinking, because a lot of people saying, this is like a new horror classic and whatever like that. I wouldn't say that. And I watched it, and like it's perfect. Like it's a really well made film. Yeah. There's like hardly anything wrong with it, but I don't know. It didn't make me go out after coming. I didn't come out of the movie going like, wow, that was perfect. That was amazing. Was quite small, but, it didn't blow me away, but it was still really good. Really good. Yeah, really so good. I think it deserves a Fantastically Splendid. It's maybe a mid Fantastically Splendid. If it maybe add a little bit more runtime to it, very high one, it could have even been a classic. It definitely had the potential of being a classic. I might watch this again and suddenly go like, oh no, actually this is a classic. Yeah. But at the moment, I think we feel strong saying that this is good.
We have the same opinions around with.
Yeah.
Is there any movie we haven't had the same opinion on?
I think Us.
We liked.
I called it classic, and you.
Yeah, I know, but I mean like really different.
I think we maybe Hellraiser, we had like different opinions or something.
Sure. Yeah, but
I don't know.
That drastic.
I don't know. But yeah, we mostly kind of agree. Yeah. So our channel says it's Fantastically Splendid. Definitely check it out. It's out right now in cinemas. I'm not sure how long it's going to be out in cinemas.
It's newly released for Australia.
So check it out. It's great. It's fantastic. If you like Sinister, it's made by the same guy. With a lot of the same cast.
70s aesthetic.
So 70s aesthetic. Check it out. It's well worth your time. Before you leave, we must do a little trivia question for the week, and also we'll give you the answer to last week's trivia question. Basically, the question for this week is... Should we say the answer for... Actually, we'll do the answer for the last question. The answer for the last question, we basically asked you is, Steve in season 1, he had 2 friends. Yeah. And basically, we kind of forgot their names. And so we asked you guys, who is Steve's friends' names? What's their names? And basically, the two names that we have of friends is we have Carol, she's the girl, and I think it was Tommy, who was the boy. And I'm not going to say the last name. I know it's Carol Perkins and probably Tommy Hogan. So those are the two guys. If you guess that, if you know that, fantastic.
If you guess that, why do you know that?
Why? You love them so much. You cosplay at them. Cosplay at them.
Cosplay
as them.
Go up to the actors. Hey, what up?
But no, okay. If you answer that, fantastic. But now it's to go on to our question for this week. So basically, this is a question about another film by Scott Derrickson, who did this one, Black Phone. Basically, this is a Sinister trivia question. So if you know Sinister, fantastic. If you don't, I'm sorry. But this may want you to go and watch Sinister. Basically, the question is this. What state was the movie Sinister based in? Was it A, Maryland, B, Maine, C, Vermont, or D, Pennsylvania? So there you go. We're not going to give you the answer. We'll give the answer next week.
I don't even know it. Can I have a guess?
Sure, go for a guess.
Pennsylvania? That's my guess.
We'll see if Louis is right next week on this same channel with these same reviews. We don't know what we're reviewing next week.
Next?
No idea.
Let's make a promise right now. No, I'm joking. I'm not saying
I don't know. Maybe a classic movie or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever's in between Nope, because Nope is definitely going to be our next new one.
Yeah.
And yeah, cool. So that's us. Have a great one.
Bye-bye.
See you later, kiddies. And Balloon, do a transition. I'm going to just throw this to the camera. Transition.
Okay.
I'm keeping all of this. No. Oh, no. Okay, bye.